bottom 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, their nose to tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
After about 11 weeks of racing, actually make that 12, the Fuel HostVenom Cup Series has whittled the field down to the cream of the crop. The final 10 drivers will compete in a head-to-head format for the next 7 or 8 weeks, Finian, I believe, to take down and get rid of the rest of the field, Finian, and get rid of the best of the rest, and bring us all the way to the end of the season, where the last couple drivers will fight for the championship at Homestead Miami Speedway. Each week, it's sudden death for one driver, so you can't afford to make mistakes. Lightning doesn't strike twice, Finian, but what about Thunder Alley? We're here in Rockingham Speedway for Throwback Night for Fuel, and I'm really excited for this one. We've never streamed a race here at this speedway, and I'm really glad that we're here tonight.
Yeah, this is really looking forward to this race because I honestly have no idea much about how this track drives. I barely race in it myself. Which not for any particular reason is that not a lot of series come here at all, which is kind of a disappointment because this is a pretty fun track from the looks of it, and from like basic testing that I've done, it's really fun to drive.
Well, when you take a look at when you put schedules together, Finian, you try to assemble some of the best racetracks in racing, and everyone always talks about how they want Rockingham back in NASCAR. Well, let's start putting it back on the sim schedules first, and Fuel has done that this season. It's our first time here as Sim TV, and hey, it's a nice racetrack. We're ready to go racing tonight. On the left-hand side of your screen, the yellow cars and yellow numbers are your Fuel Finals contestants. There's 10 of them, Finian. We're not going to have 10 at the end of the season, but one of them is going to go home tonight. Get ready to roll.
Yeah, and you can get the points.
I do.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the points here, and it's going to be key here because these guys, the format that they're racing in, the driver in last place, he's going to be the one getting the boot.
I don't know what's going on in those two columns, but hey, all we need to know is that order on the left-hand side of your screen, and Eckrich, Cohen, Timothy Johnson, and Thomas George, they're probably in pretty good spots here, Finian, but one driver who's at an immediate deficit is Anthony Navarro in that number 27. He missed a couple weeks. He's got a bunch of penalties coming into this season. Boy.
Yeah, in fact, he should have been not had any penalty applied to him this week. Would have been second in the order. It would have had 2,009 points. Everyone got all the championship drivers got to 2,000. Scott Eckrich is leading with 2,031, so he's got a comfortable lead. But DeBarro got a 20-point penalty, so that puts him back at 1,989. So he's 12 points behind Bresci, and that's kind of iffy for him because if he's in last place here at the end of this race in the points, he's going to get kicked out immediately. So he has to make sure he gets a good finish here tonight, although this could be the end of his championship hopes in round 1.
Finian, we've got qualifying underway, and the field size is not enormous tonight, only about 24, 25 cars. So our Fuel Finals contestants make up almost half the field tonight, so it's going to be cutthroat out there. It's going to be a lot of one-on-one racing with your competitors, but you cannot make a single mistake this season in the postseason if you want to make it to Homestead Miami Speedway. And Finian, this is an easy place to make it. It's not a track a lot of people are familiar with. The banking is high, the corner speeds are high, we have high downforce. This is going to be a fast race tonight, and this track is bumpy and hard on equipment, and it's going to be really easy to slip up and wreck yourself out early here. So 148 laps, Finian, a really short race, only about 55 minutes if we go green. What are our chances that happens?
I would say honestly kind of low, and that's not really due to the drivers at all. It's really due to the track and just the way it is. With this huge amount of downforce produced by that wing, these guys are going very fast through the corners. Turn 4, honestly, I think is going to be a bit of a trouble spot because that transition from that really high banking down to the flat straightaway is going to really upset the car. And I've seen quite a few guys get loose coming off of this, so you might want to keep an eye on turn 4 especially.
All right, let's take a look at these paint schemes here tonight, Finney, because it's throwback night, and while it's not as official as Darlington was last season, let's take a look at some of these gorgeous paint schemes we've got. There's Nick Cohan in the Fuel Night in America scheme. That's a great-looking car. And got the Nick Sucks decal on the quarter panel there where the MasterCard logo is, and I really
Oh,
appreciate that. That's actually really cool.
I noticed the MasterCard logo. You can't see it from here, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
That's
Jeff
pretty
Ward not participating in the throwback night. Doesn't look like neither is Navarro, but I can tell you in the or it's Eckridge actually. But starting in looks like fifth spot, that is the 46 of Greg Evans, and he's got the old mellow yellow scheme on there. Kyle Petty rocking him, and look at Bressie. Is that now? My question to you, Finian, because I don't know, is this? It was Gordon's scheme that he ran in 2007. Was that a throwback to somebody else's car?
Yeah,
or is that
I believe that was
a
a throwback to Waltrip because
Okay.
who previously ran Pepsi, but this was so it's a throwback. This is technically a throwback to a throwback.
Well,
it's a throwback to the scheme you ran at Talladega. I think I forgot what year.
2008 or 7.
I think it might have been what year did Edwards go flying to the wall?
9.
Yeah, I think it was 2009 because I remember I remember that he was racing in that. I was like, oh, that's cool with that paint scheme. And then he crashed and I was like, and then I didn't bother watching the rest of the race, and then to find out a car went flying into the catch fence later on.
Boy. Also, look at the 28 car Davey Allison throwback Timothy Johnson's rocking. That is gorgeous. The gold done right on that machine.
Yeah, also Travis McCushion has a really nice paint scheme on his car.
Yeah, I don't think it's, is it? I don't think it's a throwback necessarily. It might be.
I
I don't
think it
recognize
looks,
that scheme from anywhere else.
Yeah, it looks like an old Caterpillar scheme, if anything. Maybe, I don't know.
The 00 of Ronkel is running a Cheez-It car. That's a nice looking machine.
Oh, I'm trying to think who ran that.
40 of Buchanan has got another scheme on that car we haven't seen yet this season, so there he is. ECU in the 52's got another scheme on that car, and for the rest of the field, Finian, kind of few and far between. The 16th, hey, they've got Biffle's number on the side of that
looks
machine.
amazing.
It sure does. All right, well, we're about ready to go racing. Finian, Nick Cohan on the pole, 148 laps. I'm really excited for this one. The banking is tall here at the Speedway. Do we have a track map actually, out of curiosity? We do! Nice, okay, looks like Atlanta, but it's gonna work. All right, so I don't actually know. Do we have 2 pace laps? No, we do not. So out of turn 4, 148 laps to start the fuel finals. Green flag flies. We're racing at Thunder Alley.
Yeah, AC Cohen get a great start as well as the Navarro in behind. Ward not so much is going to fall into third place as the guys race off in turn 1.
And you got to be very careful these opening couple laps here, Finian. You do not want to get yourself into trouble early in this race. There's William Hahn on the inside of Zach Buchanan down in turn number 3, but up the road, Bressie on the outside of Eckridge. Where do you want to be, Finian? I mean, this is a multi-groove racetrack, but it's going to take a while for that outside line to be useful, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a few laps for it to come into its own.
And Buchanan's going to try to go up the middle. There's Tyler Hensley there. Not quite enough space to make that happen. And side by side on the backstretch, they battle for what will be 10th spot. The 44 goes way up the racetrack in turn 3. He's going to lose maybe 1, maybe 2 spots here.
Car is loose already.
McQuistion. Oh, he's hard in the fence down in pit road. Crashing behind him. Casey Shue slides across the apron. The 16 gets tagged up in it. And Evan Adams out of the way trying to miss it through the grass. Caution out here early at the Rock. That was a wild lap.
Yeah, indeed it was. And again, off of turn 4. Not surprised there.
All right, so this started with the 93 of McQuistion, and he actually has some pretty significant left front damage. And he was right on the back of the 9 car, just gets loose here. Finian steps out and does a great job keeping it off the racetrack, but smashes into the fence.
And then behind you can see it started. It started with the 16 and the 52 getting together.
And Filarski got a piece of it as well. Filarski's just had a really rough season, but the 16 actually got loose and tags the 52 here.
And she had nowhere to go.
And then Filarski, we'll see his view here. He actually might be able to salvage. It's pretty heavily damaged, but could be worse. And just guess the wrong side of the racetrack here, Finian. But look at Evan Adams through the grass, avoiding it. Well done. Christopher Matthews back here. Look at Norm Pelletier. And while we're waiting for everyone to catch the pace car here, how about that 56 car, Finian? That is a throwback scheme. Old classic number on that. I dig that. Be remiss if we didn't show the 39. I know it's not quite as pretty as it was a couple laps ago. He's bringing it on in.
Yeah, I think, is everyone down here?
No, we have a split decision here.
Yeah, I think most of the guys in the back have come down. And also, we're going to cut to commercial break here. I noticed a small little error that we need to just fix.
Okay.
So, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. It was my mistake there. I had the camera UI open in the background so that our camera angles were not changing as they should. But race off pit road, Gail Brooks comes on out. All right, Finian, so we started here early. We didn't really get a good look at the racetrack down at the racetrack level. So let's ride on board Nick Cohan's car here and take a look at this racetrack.
It's very bumpy, as you can see, as they're just pacing around here through these. And it's actually funny, because didn't Rockingham get repaved, I think, before the 2011 race?
I actually don't know. It definitely was pretty dark pavement, but I've never really seen it with light pavement. So I honestly don't know if it's the asphalt that they've used or something. But it's under a mile, so you could argue that this is a short track. But to me, Finian, this race is like a speedway, but it's really high banked and the corners are really tight. It's like a mix between Bristol and Atlanta. Is what I would describe
it really is, because I mean the banking is insane here, considering how short the track is, and it's pretty much akin to Bristol. It really is weird, because you would think a track like this would have less banking, but no, it's pretty high. And also, I've been hearing from some of the drivers, I don't really know if they were joking about it, but when I was listening into practice, some guys are saying they're going to get tired after they're already getting tired after a few laps of running here.
It's certainly a bumpy racetrack, and that's going to make things extremely difficult to navigate. Especially on older tires. We saw that was really what threw the 93 out of control, was hitting the bumps down there in 3 and 4. This is, I mean, it might have been repaved, but they just threw pavement over the top of it here, Finney. They didn't grade this, and it's not like when they repaved Daytona, when they, made it all pretty and nice and smooth as glass. No, this place is rough.
Yeah, you can see the creases already, and the surface is pretty relatively new, at least the top part of it is. But yeah, they just kind of did a hack job. Call it a day.
Hey, hack jobs are the best kinds of racetracks, let me tell you. When you design racetracks with CAD, you get bad racetracks. Just saying. Anyway.
Also get less deaths.
Well, okay. Besides the point. All right, so again, the top 8 are all Fuel Finals drivers. Then it's Silliman and Runkle in 12th and 14th. And Silliman has had a really consistent season, but didn't get any bonus points from wins, so he's found himself pretty deep in the running order. But all you have to do tonight is not finish last of the Fuel Finals drivers in the point standings there, but it's not quite so cut and dry as that. So we've got one retirement. Looks like Jared Dixon is out of the race with crash damage. John Wilco in the 62 is 1 lap down. Everybody else here, Finney, the top 21 cars are on the lead lap and ready to go back racing. It looks like Ian McQuistion's got his car mostly repaired. And aerodynamics, not a huge factor here tonight. So you can probably make cars that look pretty rough do pretty well here tonight. Pace car rolls off. Let's try this again. Lap number 8 coming to the restart. 141 laps to go. Nick Cohan and Anthony Navarro leading them down. Green flag flies, racing again here in Rockingham.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel spin off the 27 there as they come across the line. Cohan's going to come off to an early lead. Here comes Ward charging in, this time to Barr with the 4-start.
Eckrich down to the inside, took advantage of that. There's door-to-door out of turn 2 for that 3rd spot, and close quarters there as they make their way down the backstretch. Well, look at Silliman popping out of line back here.
Yeah, trying to get to the inside of Buchanan. He's also going to find himself battling with Tim Johnson. Ooh, they're almost making contact there.
It's all really close. Again, you don't have any room for error. If you make a mistake, you're going to find yourself out of the finals. And look at the 28 of Timothy Johnson getting rooted up out of the groove. Here comes Zach Buchanan in the 11th trying to make his way on through. He's loose out of turn 2 and crashing on the inside. Hard impact for the 40, and I think that's probably going to be night over.
Yeah, night over, going to be retirement for the 40. Tough break for him.
Cohan makes his way down into turn number 1, and let's remind you, the cameras here, Finney, are not mounted that high, but look how far down the racetrack, everybody. It's because the banking is so tall.
It really is crazy here, and you see Cohen coming up to an early lead. Here you see behind some small battles developing, but mostly single file at the moment.
Christopher Matthews in a Toyota now. Well, I'm pretty sure he was in a Camaro the first.
Yeah, he's been switching in and out.
And there is the 52 of Casey Shoe. Some pretty significant nose damage on that car, but making it work here early. But up front here, Finney, look at Jeff Ward. He's found his way into 2nd place where he started. But so far, everyone's getting strung out here, Finney. And so now the question is, if you want to make that outside lane work, do you have to work your way up there and rubber it in, or do you think it'll just develop naturally over time?
I think it'll start to develop as these tires wear out. I think guys are going to have a really tough time getting the car turned down all the way here, because it's a pretty tight turn here, and you're going to be. I think the car is going to naturally move up as the run goes on.
The battle back there, that's the 56 of Norm Pelletier. He's fighting Christopher Matthews, who's gotten that spot away. And Pelletier did receive some damage in an incident. That left front's pretty torn up, but there's Johnny Martin in the 12. He's going to go right on through and move Pelletier up to 16th. Oh, car in the fence. Thomas Bresci. That was a pretty decent hit there, Finny, but it doesn't look like he walked away with too much damage.
Yeah, actually the car looks pretty fine, so seems to get off with a lot less than we thought he would.
So everyone's just kind of biding their time here, Finny. Maybe just getting. Look at the wall. Look at the shape of the wall. This place is not pretty in terms
I would
of
say
design.
if you want to pull up the track map up real quick, you can tell the front. Look at the
Yeah,
front.
I mean, it's like someone was drawing it with an Etch-a-Sketch, but hey, it's a great racetrack, and the imperfections are what make this place so perfect to race on. And whoa, we got a car slow, and it's Travis McQuiston again in the back straightaway fence. The second time tonight he's been involved in an incident, no caution yet, and he's going to get himself back rolling, but that's going to be terminal damage for the 93.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to end his day, and really unfortunate we're losing a couple of good drivers here early on. First Buchanan, now Question going to be out.
Here's a look at it. He was following Don Runkle Jr.
Did he
in the double
get
zero.
involved? I saw Runkle slow.
Yeah, Runkle bounced off the safer barrier, and oh
no.
boy, big impact into the fence.
Yeah, Runkle also not having a good night so far. Currently back.
He is 16. A Fuel Finals driver, Finny. He won back at Fontana, California, way earlier in the season on a pit strategy call, Finny. But his results just as of late have not been competitive, and he's going to really struggle if this is where he is tonight. Now, the question is it going to? Can he finish bad enough to do worse than the 27 Navarro in the points?
I think what's going to help him is that we have a relatively low car count here tonight, and only 24 drivers took the green flag, so he's not going to be able to lose enough, because again, Navarro with that penalty, that's really going to put the bottom spot really far behind a lot of the other drivers, the other 9 drivers. So I think he might be able to get out of here, still in the playoffs. But again, it's kind of up to where Navarro finishes.
Well, Nick Cohan's worked his way out to a 1-second lead, but Eckrich has just passed Jeff Ward for second place, Finian. Does the 21 have to be worried about that? I would say he does.
That would be an update from Zach Buchanan. Apparently his wheel disconnected.
Hardware failure, tire blowout. I mean, that's why you don't need to simulate those kinds of things in iRacing. The 9 car, Thomas George slow on the inside. And looks like Woody Mahan and Johnson are going to try to get around him. What happened to the 9 car?
Yeah, looks like, I think it might have just gotten loose off the corner and was slow on the front straightaway. Because that car looks relatively unscathed.
He got in the fence out of turn 4. Hard. It went through the grass and managed to save it, Finian. But again, this is not an easy racetrack to drive. And again, this is probably the worst night to have an issue, because this is when the points are the closest. You have no cushion tonight.
Yeah, and also, too, considering the fact that I believe there's no reset until the final round with the final 3 drivers, so you're going to have to be in it the entire time.
And look at the suspension working. Actually, if we could go on board the right front tire camera here, if I could find it, right front suspension. Look at when we get down to turns 3 and 4, we just watch the suspension working on this thing. Look at how bumpy this racetrack is, Finn.
Yeah, here he's going through the corner. Actually, you don't see any flex in it.
Well, the right front, it's so compressed. You get to the exit of the corner.
Yeah, now it's gone.
It's just so much load on these cars through the corners here, Finian. But Cohan is getting reeled in. The gap is now 0.6 of a second back to Scott Eckrich as we have a pass going on here. Thomas George and Timothy Johnson. This is for 9th.
George trying to make up some spots he lost after running through the grass.
Whoa, that's Johnson.
Yeah, and you're seeing here kind of why a lot of these guys are single file out. It's very hard to try to pass here, considering how fast these guys are going. It's almost also pretty terrifying in general.
It's a very sketchy racetrack to drive by yourself.
Yeah, and actually, if you want to ride on board with Thomas George, you go pretty fast with these corners here. That's
a factor of the banking being so tall. You have a lot of load in the car. You have a grippy tire, and you have a tall spoiler.
You got a bumpy track.
It's like a roller coaster around here that has poor maintained tracks. I mean, it's certainly violent. And look at him bouncing through the corner. And you saw him wiggle the wheel there on corner exit. And then off into turn 1, you just drop down a couple stories. It's almost like Dover in that regard. And onto the back straightaway. Not a lot of room for error. You cannot make a mistake.
Yeah, Hensley out in behind him trying to make a pass.
It's like you're going to get seasick watching this rear view camera. For the lead, Finian, we've got a battle. Nick Cohan has gotten reeled in. Scott Eckrich is closing by over 1/10 of a second a lap. And much like the rest of the season, Scott Eckrich is looking like he's going to have the strongest car tonight. Question is, can he win this race, and does anyone have anything for him? It looks like Eckrich is exiting the corner higher up. Now, what about tire conservation? I think we could see long green flag runs tonight. We've already seen a pretty decent run. So what does Eckrich have to do to maintain his grip in his tires for the majority of the run?
I think maybe try to go up a lane or at least experiment with it and see if we can continue to run, because obviously, you know, taking a less aggressive approach to the racing line will save your tires up, but he's right there on the yellow line all the way around.
Lap 26 complete here at Rockingham. We have 148 to complete tonight. We're clicking through them very fast, and in only 24-second laps. And the lead battle is on. Scott Eckrich now 3.5 tenths back. Last time through, he was 0.03 of a second slower, but he's continuing to reel in the 21. Now, a question, Finian. How about the aero push tonight? Is it going to be as bad as we normally see it, or maybe less bad because you have a couple more lane options?
I think a little less bad. I don't think they're going fast enough to necessarily cause a problem in the corner. They're going pretty fast in corners, but again, not enough for it to be a problem. I'd be kind of surprised if they were. And I think you would also only, if you did feel it, you would have to be right up behind the guy.
Oh, I love that camera. Top 5, top 6 actually all relatively close together. Then it's a 2.5 second gap back to Tim Silliman, who didn't really have the best qualifying effort, finishing 13th tonight, but has moved his way up into 7th and is competing quite nicely now. And really, as long as you're in the top 10 tonight, you should be safe points-wise, but cannot make those mistakes. As we've said so many times tonight, Nick Cohen has actually stretched the lead back out to 0.5 tenths of a second, Vinian, so Cohen's found another gear, and he's using it to his advantage.
Keep an eye on this fight between them, because again, I think anyone really that's been sticking on the season, I think they would know that Scott Eckrich is pretty much the man to beat for this championship.
Oh, he's been the man to beat all year long.
And speaking of championships, let's go to the 46. Greg Evans currently running in 6th. Just got in by the skin of his teeth last week at Iowa due to some interesting circumstances, and he has a chance at defending his title here. So he's been given a second chance this season as he's been picking up the pace quite a bit in the last few weeks.
What a perfect time to get a little bit of luck, Finian, because we mentioned that last year he won 9 of the 17 races, won more than half.
And currently winless this season.
And winless this season over the 12 races that we've done so far. So Greg Evans, this has not been the season return that he's been looking for. So to get a new lease on life heading into the Fuel Finals, this is a great opportunity for him to get himself back into victory lane. But even still, Finian, the competition level has picked up so much. He's having a decent run tonight, but Bresci, Navarro, Ward, Eckrich, and Cohen, I still think on a week-to-week basis, are still outperforming Evans. So he's has some work to do, but it's going to be a couple weeks before we see this 46 get cut, I feel. Travis McQuistion in the 93 is coming on down pit lane for a stop. He's already 2 laps down. John Wilco's 1 lap down. The top 18 cars are on the lead lap. We head back up to the lead, and Nick Cohen has now led majority of this race in that number 21 car, fitting from the pole. And whoa, Ward was loose on a turn 4. He's wheeling it right now. It's rim riding on the bottom around here. I'm curious to see if that outside lane is going to come in, because if you look back at some of the more iconic finishes from Rockingham, that outside lane was the place to be, I think, on the last couple laps. But we're just not seeing anybody try to go up there. If it doesn't rubber in, I don't really see how it's going to be a viable line. And this is a short race, so I don't really think we're going to see the high line come in as much as we otherwise thought. So this might be a route the guy up out of the way in front of you kind of deal tonight. But here's Timothy Johnson trying to work over Mahan for 8.
Yeah, Johnson reeling him in. And where is he going to make the passes? And how he's going to make the passes is what I'm interested in. If he's going to try to go high or maybe just try to pass him in low. I would bet that he's probably going to try to pass him on the inside.
Pit stop's got to be coming up relatively soon, Finian. The pit entry here, again, not a lot of drivers familiar with this racetrack, haven't raced here a lot, so maybe pit road will be difficult to get to. Maybe not as hard as tracks like Vegas or Chicago. But you got to keep your heads up, because this is a short track. The pit road speed is slow. You got to get yourself down.
And also, you go from pretty high banking all the way down to the apron, and it's again, very tight turn too. So you got to keep that in mind. But Eckrich is real back going in, close as it's been since the start. So we'll see how this plays out between these guys. They got a lap car up ahead.
Got a couple lap cars up the road. Here's a gyro cam on board. You can see how much banking there is here. And also take a look at how much you can't see, because it's so much like Bristol. When you get into the corners, Finney, the banking is actually going up away from you, up vertically. So when you get into the corner, you can't see what's going on. And especially with lap traffic fighting for positions up ahead, you got to keep yourself on your toes. Watch that relative box. Make sure that you're not coming up on an accident.
guys catching quite a bit of lap traffic up ahead. There you see Runkle getting out of the way for the leaders.
Yeah, he got in the fence actually in turn 3. Eckridge runs up high on corner exit, and Jeff Ward's keeping these guys in sight, so if these two have an issue, 89 will be there to pounce.
Yeah, he'll be there to pick up pieces.
So pit stops around 70 to 80, Finian. That's a pretty long. There's Evan Adams there. So as we see the 70 go to the outside lane, so we'll see now if that outside is a place to be. Side by side for the lead, about a foot between them. Who's going to have the preferred line as they come out of turn 4? It's Eckridge, the momentum, and he's going to take the lead away on the outside lane. So I guess that answers that question.
Whoa! Cohen gets
turned!
into him.
In turn 1, they both almost crashed, but oh no!
Whoa.
They
And here comes
back
Jeff.
over.
And here comes Jeff Ward trying to get back around both these guys.
And that was a dramatic half a lap. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Jeff Ward takes over second spot. We have to go back and quickly take a look at what happened here. They just got together. Oh, that was a terrible angle. We do not pull a fox here. Let's take another look. So Eckridge clears the 21 and enters the corner, and I think the 21 thought he'd be left the lane, and they get together, and then the 70 turns back to the left and tags the 21 in the rear and sends him back up the racetrack.
Jeff Ward trying to capitalize on the situation. Was able to get around Cohen, but wasn't able to get around Eckridge.
Oh boy. Well, drama here early, Finian. What do you think? I mean, racing incident there, I'd say so, but
yeah.
I mean, maybe Nick Cohan's mind it wasn't that way.
Yeah, I think definitely on Cohen's. I would say it leaned slightly more at Eckridge because Cohen was kind of already to the inside. He was all the way down. So
Well, I think we're only on lap 42. I would have thought Nick Cohen would think that the 70 would give him that lane, but
yeah.
we're going for a championship. I know it's a little ways out, but no one's given an inch here tonight. Greg Evans is catching Thomas Bresci. He's caught him for the last couple laps. We'll see if he can make a move down to the inside. So tight here, Finian. How do you get yourself an advantage?
Yeah, really, you really have to build up the run here. Maybe running high, try to set up the corner in advance. But yeah, you really need those runs to get a lunge into the corner, especially the guys that are trying to capacity on the inside. Although again, haven't other than Eckridge, I haven't really seen anyone experiment with trying to go around the outside.
No, I really don't think anyone's been put in that position. Eckridge had a lap car that kind of boxed in the 21 at least a little bit, got him jacked up, so he took the outside lane and corner exit, managed to get up there, and then from there he was just pinched him down to the inside and managed to make it work. So I think you can make that line work. You just have to be creative about it. But Eckridge leads, but Ward has caught him and kept with him.
Yeah, Ward is actually catching him by a decent amount. I thought he was going to fall off and Eckridge was going to drive off, but here comes Ward now with a big charge.
These top 3 have all closed up, and actually you can bring 4th. Anthony Navarro is in the background smelling blood in the water, and there is Greg Evans and Thomas Bresci working around the 39 of Pilarski, who was involved in that third lap incident.
In fact, the entire top 6 are all within 2 seconds of each other.
A close fight for these top couple spots. Finian, but for the lead, Jeff Ward is keeping that 70 honest as they work their way through turn 2.
I got some more traffic up ahead to navigate, and we saw with the traffic, things got pretty interesting here.
Just up the road, I believe that it's not the 00. Trying to figure out who that is. Nope, not. Who is that red car in front of the leaders?
That is a fantastic question.
I don't recognize that car at all.
62?
What car is it? A red car? It is. Oh, throwback night. I guess that explains why they made a different scheme. But he's about to go a second lap down, so 14 cars are on the lead lap. A couple drivers have made a pit stop, but well, actually, Quishin and Shu are the only ones that have made 2 pit stops, and they were for crash damage. So no one's made their first green flag stop yet. But now second, or actually this is for the lead here. Ward is caught right back up to Eckridge, and Cohan is here as well. And I don't know if we're going to see as nice of a situation as we saw before. But look at Greg Evans all over the back of Bresci.
Yeah, he made a look into coming out of 2, but wasn't able to get there. Yeah, he's been constantly on the bumper of that 24. Again, hasn't been able to find a way around.
Speaking of finding a way around, 89 is there out of turn 2. Close quarters there with the 62. They get around him on the back straight, weaving around. And Cohan looking to the inside of the 89, but he'll have to wait his turn here.
Yeah, Ward shuts the door on him. And he's kind of still, a little bit loose there off the bumper of the 70.
And they're going to head down to turn number 1. Let's see if anybody chooses a different line. They're all going to be on the bottom for now. Ooh, that's getting tight there for 5th.
Yeah, Evans to the inside now. Bresci with the run off the corner and just able to easily defend.
Yeah, so now I think drivers are going to start to learn as they try this outside lane that it's a pretty viable place to go. We saw the 70 make a pass up there, and the 24 just defended, and that's something you put in your notebook for later. Hey, that actually worked. Let's do that again later. Ward is taking it to. How about the 89? This is a driver, Finney, in the last couple weeks has really stepped up his game, has been in contention for wins each and every week, and after winning at Motegi, I believe, has just been a solid threat, and he's quick tonight, and Ekrich has to be worried.
Yeah, another driver that had a rough beginning of the season, but in recent weeks has really stepped up his game, and really looking to be a championship contender here in the final round at the very least. So we'll keep an eye on his 89, but honestly, I would say he's a good bet for trying to win the championship.
Take a look at the damage on the right front of the 21, right where the A in America is underneath the F. That's not significant, Finian, but that just goes to show you that there was pretty heavy contact between him and the 70.
If you go off the nose of the 89 and look at the 70, kind of see a little bit of a dent in the wing there and in the left rear.
I would definitely say that the 21 got the worst end of that deal in terms of the damage, though, because the left rear quarter panel, not very important.
Yeah.
The right front is more, but honestly, it really doesn't look that bad from this angle. So I think they'll both be able to continue without too much performance penalty, but definitely a scary situation there, and the extra downforce and the driver skill helped avoid a crash there. But at the same time, you know, Ekrich definitely turned in on the 21, so we'll see if there's room given later in the race or if they've kind of had enough with each other.
See, so we're about 20 laps from pit stops.
Whoa, these guys are duking it out back here.
Yeah, it's still not over between them.
Oh, contact! A shove, a push to the back of the 24. He's got the rear end knocked in as the 46 of Evans leans on him out of turn 4.
And Bressie going up the block there on the high side. Here comes Evans now going to the low side. This can get ugly really fast.
Side by side for 5th spot now. Bressie on the outside, Evans on the inside. They were leaning on each other the last lap. Now the 46 is going to have to tuck back in line as they enter turn 3.
I think the only way you're really going to pass on the inside, I think you got to lunge on entry and try to pass him there. You lose so much time, so much momentum on the runoff.
Well, we've definitely made it clear that we're good with bumping and banging tonight, Finnegan. Welcome to Rockingham.
Yeah, I was going to say, welcome, yeah, indeed, welcome to Rockingham. And I'm kind of curious if something started that, or if this is just some frustration out of the 46.
I think it's a frustration. It's difficult to make these passes unless you root somebody up out of the way. So I think we're seeing the 46 going, all right, we're losing some ground to those lead guys. Why don't you let me on by? And Bressie's not the kind of guy to roll over and let anybody through, so he's just fine hanging out here.
Especially considering both of them are fighting for a championship here. You can't just
and neither of these guys are... contact again on
exit.
turn 2.
Yeah, he's really using Bressie up now. I'm curious what Bressie's going to do in response.
Yeah, I think these guys are, they're not going to roll over for each other. For sure.
Oh, here comes Evans with a run.
He's got a good run. He's going to get there alongside. The 24 is not quite clear. He can't turn in yet. And now the 46 will have a run down into turn 1, but the 24 is going to run up the racetrack, and he'll probably get a good run out of turn 2, enough to hang on to the spot. He slipped, though.
Oh, yeah, he got loose in the corner. Here comes the 46 with a run. Tries to side draft him up.
Here's
to
the
corner.
lunge. He's there. The 24 might try to cross him up here on corner exit, or he might just be satisfied giving that spot up now.
He's trying to get the run off the corner, but yeah, you got to be careful. You can run a higher lane. You can't run the high lane though, because it's very bumpy up there, and it's very hard to get the car rotated there.
Lumahan down to pit road. I have to imagine this is a scheduled stop for the 8 car. He's rolling on through 42 miles an hour, Finian, so about 45-mile speed limit. Ekrich and Ward nose to tail here. I think Ward's quicker, but now there's Norm Pelletier. It's going to slow up the 70 mid-corner. Work their way down the back straight.
Looks like the leader should be able to get on by him without any problems, but yeah, all the top drivers, all the top 4 within a second of each other.
Let's not forget about half. Whoa, the 70 slipped big time on the inside of the 56.
Even Ward, too, was loose in behind him, so I think the star is really starting to wear out.
All right, let's think about halfway points here, Finney, because this is going to matter in that race for that last spot in the fuel finals. When we get to what's the math here? 75, 74, 73 and a half. 74.
No, 74.
They're going to award halfway points, and that's really going to change the outcome of who's going to get the cut tonight. Right now, the 27 and the 00 are the ones down there fighting for that last spot. As one driver is going to go home tonight, it's sudden death. You cannot have a bad race, and it's just not been a good one for either of those 2 cars. Well, actually, 27's not running bad, but with that points penalty, it's gonna hurt him.
I was going to say, and he needs Bressie to have a bad night, if anything. But again, if you hold on to starters, and already a few guys that have called it a day. So It's kind of, I don't know, it's not entirely looking good for the 27, and we just started the playoffs, so it's going to be tough for here, because it's going to be walking out, even with a top 5 finish, he might be walking out of here, out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and the thing is, if he can survive to the next round, Finian, he might be okay, because then he can start building on his finishes and get himself back into the picture, but he's at a pretty deep deficit right now. That'd be really impressive for him to do that.
I was going to say, these halfway points are going to be key for him. He definitely can't pit before halfway. He needs those extra points to get up to Runkle, who's currently the driver struggling the most, currently back in 16.
All right, so Eckridge has worked his way out to a 7/10 of a second
loose
lead.
in the background.
And who was that?
A red car.
Red car.
Up ahead of him.
Not sure who that was.
I think it was Wilco, actually.
Wilco in the 62. Let's take a look. Let's try to find him on the replay here.
I just saved it. I saw a little bit of a wiggle out of him.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Woo, big wiggle. He caught it, and we've seen a lot of that all night tonight. I don't think it's going to get any better on the older tires.
Yeah, these guys are dying to pit again. They want to try to make it to around lap 74, give or take a few laps.
John Runkle pitting early here.
Yeah, he's really. You can see that the right side of that car not faring well. He's been in the wall quite a few times.
Oh, Kenny Johnson
wreck.
crashed to the back straightaway. No. And Johnston was one of those Fuel Finals drivers. That's going to be a DNF, and that is going to hurt him badly in the points picture.
Yeah, that's going to be retirement straight off for the 28.
Oh, boy. What happened here? And 39 at Pilarski was up in the wall ahead of him. And did these two get together? Yes, he did. Pilarski came over and slammed into the 28 and crashed that car, and looks like Johnson's out for the night.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's the second time we've seen Owens.
Oh, Pelletier got involved here, but let's take another look. We'll bring you back to that in a second.
Yeah, second time we've seen the slower car get on the outside wall and then come and hit an innocent driver on the inside.
Slammed into the wall, and then the 56 of Pelletier.
He was in his own incident. Was it with Greg Evans? I saw Evans. Oh my!
There was a whole other crash going on up the road here after this incident. The 56 and the 46, and the same exact thing, just another 100 feet down the racetrack, and the 46 hit the wall hard, and Evans is going to be in trouble.
Oh no! What on earth?
So 2 of our Fuel Finals contestants, just like that, in huge drama.
Yeah, huge drama over arguably very avoidable,
extremely avoidable incidents.
Both very avoidable incidents. So yeah. And you gotta feel for Evans and Johnson. That just sucks, because especially for Greg Evans too, because he's been having some fantastic runs as of late.
Yeah, he does not have the cushion.
He did everything he needed to do tonight. Was running in the top 5, having a good points day, and then just taken out over a pretty silly wreck. So and he's going to be sitting there fixing damage for pretty much most of the night.
And that's not to say that Timothy Johnson's wasn't silly either, and he's going to be out of this race. So big implications for the Fuel Finals picture. And while we don't have live point settings updates for you, I'm sure it'll be close.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think they might be fine. I would think if anything is gonna be between Runkle and Navarro as far as how they sort out.
Yeah. So. Oh boy, Finney, this is not how these guys wanted this night to go.
Got out 4-1 on this night to go.
Well, and you can see we still have a lot of our Fuel Finals contestants up front, so. The ones that have had issues are going to find this, if they don't get eliminated, a huge hole to climb out of tomorrow. It could be worse. We could have 35 cars in this field, but either way, it's going to be a big hole.
Yeah, so currently Johnson's currently back in 17th. Johnny Martins and Evan Adams are both out on the track, so they'll pass him. So Johnson looking to finish in 19th for the night. That's going to be fortunate for him.
Yeah, again, it could be a lot worse, but at the same time, they really didn't need this. Now, the only hope that I think those guys really have to not definitely be on the cut line is this 27. He might score halfway points here in a couple laps.
Yeah.
But if he crashes out, that changes the whole picture again. So really, the race is to watch this 27, because if he has a bad night, everyone else is safe. But if he has a good night, then the whole question rises as to who is on that chopping block for round number 2. 1 to green here. Finian and Eckridge, Ward, Bresci, DeBarro, Tim Silliman are your top 5. Cohan 6th. Then George, Christopher Matthews, Tyler Hensey, and Gail Brooks, the rest of your top 10. And we've seen so many of those incidents tonight with drivers bouncing off the outside wall, then coming back across the racetrack. And that could just as easily, and those were lap down cars as well, so it can happen to anybody, can happen at any point, at any part of the racetrack. So all these lead lap cars have to be very careful navigating around traffic.
Yeah, I was looking at it. So Timmy Johnson and John Runkle, they were tied in the points coming in, and John Runkle's definitely going to finish ahead of Johnson. So Johnson currently in danger of being kicked out of the playoffs.
Well, again, it's all about what happens in this 27 car. If he has a smooth rest of the night, it's going to be a big problem for the 28 car. And what a way to go out after having such a phenomenal season. Was up till last week, I believe, was second in the point standings. So consistent, but this does not reward consistency, Thinian. This rewards excellence each and every week. And if you're not excellent one week, even if it's not your fault, you're going to be out of the playoffs. Green flag back in the air, lap number 69, closing it in halfway in about 6 to 7 laps. And down into turn 1, Bresci takes advantage of the slow Navarro on the restart, takes away 3rd place as they exit turn 2.
And already single file for the leaders. I say that, and here comes Tim Stillman to the inside of Cohen.
Cohen's going to just carry so much momentum around the outside lane like a rocket around the outside.
And as they come across the line, 4 laps till halfway. Again, those halfway points, you can see when we pull up the ticker here, all the top 7, all playoff drivers.
Where is that 46 of Greg Evans? He's back in 11th, making that car work, but you cannot count on that thing making it to the end of the race, Fidian.
Yeah, and he's going to try to get around Mahan so he can get into the top 10, get some points, at least 1 point to his name here at halfway. But Jeff Ward trying to hold off a charging Thomas Bresci, who's come to life here in the second half of this race.
Definitely on the restart, he shot out of a cannon. The question is, can he carry this momentum throughout the run? And we have only a couple laps till halfway. Navarro sitting in 4th and collected a big, healthy chunk of halfway points that would help save his championship hopes here. Now we're looking to the outside lane. Is that 24? Maybe starting to experiment with different lines. We've seen drivers use that outside lane, but no one's really gone up there to run. I've seen a lot of drivers kind of look up there and make a pass, but no one's running up against the top of the race.
I was surprised that once the tires started to wear out, that these guys didn't really experiment that much with it.
Because it seems like it's faster at points.
Yeah, it does seem, and also it'll be a little bit less abrasive on the tires, but I mean, it looks like they're doing completely fine on the bottom.
This race is not long. We only have about 28 minutes of racing remaining, so if you're going to start experimenting, you want to do it now.
And as they come out of turn 4, and Eckert is going to cross the line, we're going to be halfway through this race. Halfway points are going to be awarded. That's a nice 10 points for Scott Eckert, and more importantly, 7 to Anthony Navarro.
Yeah, that's huge for the 27 to get to this point in the race and pick up those points. That could save him, but now he's got to finish out the deal here, Finian. He's got to finish well if he wants to really feel good about his position tonight. So keep yourself out of trouble if you want to make it through to the next round. All right, let's take a look so far and we'll do a little rundown of our top 10. Right now, Scott Eckridge out up front. Didn't start up here, Finian, but worked his way around, clawed his way through the field. Had a dramatic moment with the 21 and Nick Cohan to get himself to lead. Jeff Ward, he's been second place all night. Second best is fine enough tonight for the next couple rounds. He's fine. If he just runs second the rest of this Fuel Finals, he'll be in a good spot heading into Homestead. Thomas Bresci in the number 24. He started in the 6th spot. He's done nothing but claw his way forward tonight, especially on this latest run.
Yeah, we saw him running around in around 5th place, but here he is now joining the top 3. And then we go on back to the guy we've been talking about a lot tonight, Navarro. Currently, before halfway was sitting in a very precarious position as far as the playoff situation is concerned, but those 7 points definitely going to help him out. We'll have to see where he finishes the night.
Nick Cohan, your pole sitter, started first tonight, got kind of knocked out of the lead in a pretty dramatic way, but still running 5th right now.
And currently kind of I'm kind of surprised he's back there and hasn't been able to move up. He's currently stuck behind his teammate in the 27. We'll see if we can try to get around him, move up some spots.
Tim Stillman in 6th tonight, started 13th. Been a slow come-to-life process for the 6 car. It hasn't really lit the world on fire tonight, but you don't need to. The position he's in the championship, just have a good finish tonight, you'll be fine. Thomas Jordan started 7th, running 7th, much of the same. He's been kind of stuck here all night. Hasn't really shown a lot of speed.
Yeah, and this seems to be kind of a weak track for him, although, again, having a solid run in 7th, I think that's all he's just kind of eyeing for right now.
Tyler Hensley in the number 44, started 10th, running 8th. It's been a slow climb forward, but not a Fuel Finals driver, so just looking for a victory. That's all he cares about tonight. Christopher Matthews in 9th. He started at the tail of the field in 22nd, but he continues to impress us each and every week. As a new driver here, only a couple weeks in, he's putting on a heck of a performance.
Honestly, if there was an award for most improved, it should go to that 92 car.
Dumahan in 10th, started in 11th. More of the same, hasn't really had a great night tonight, but not having a bad night either.
And if we said the top 10, but I think we have to go back.
Yeah, we'll go through the rest of the field. We might as well.
Yeah, and here, so looking at Greg Evans, see the nose off that car, just kind of struggling at the moment. Although not completely off pace, still running decent times, but nowhere near probably where he would like to be running with that damaged car.
Gale Brooks in the 71 started 14th, has some damage on the right side of that car, but again, not a Fuel Finals contestant, just out here looking to win a race, but might need to play a strategy call to make something happen. So the 71 not running great at the moment. Filarski involved in an early crash. He's down on pit road right now getting service, but
yeah, he's two laps down now. He's going to go probably another lap down here.
Was involved in that recent incident with Timothy Johnson on the back straightaway. Don Runkle Jr., one of the Fuel Finals contestants who's on the chopping block tonight, but with the 28 of Johnson behind him and the issues with the 27 in terms of the points, I think the 00 is probably okay, but we're not going to say anything until the race is over. We missed a couple. John Wilco started 23rd tonight. Up to 13th is had a dramatic start to the race, but has now kind of settled in and is running okay.
Yeah, also Gale Brooks up ahead of him in 12th, having a decent night in 12th. Nothing really to say, just kind of riding around here, same with Norm Pelletier, although Pelletier is 2 laps down.
Yeah, Pelletier, not a great night for him, was involved in a couple incidents, but let's head on back to Evan Adams. 6 laps down at number 59. It's a good-looking paint scheme, but unfortunately they don't give out wins for that.
Yeah, so currently the last car running on the track.
Well, still running, though, which is better than the 5 or 6 cars that have DNF'd tonight. Timothy Johnson, Casey Shue, McQuistion, Buchanan, Dixon, and Green, all with issues. And as we say that, he slips out of turn 2, but
actually,
saves
we can
it.
go back to Filarski. Did he get out of the car?
Try to get a good look at him here.
Go inside the car.
Let's see. It looks like he is out of the race car, so Filarski out for now. Are still on. All right, let's head back up to the top spot here, Finian. What do you think about a Sin TV sound surge?
I think let's do it.
Caution out here at Rockingham Speedway for, it looks like, the 3rd time tonight. Evan Adams on the front straightaway, damage to the right side of that car, Finian, but interesting how this is going to work out strategy-wise. We should be easily good to the end on fuel from here. I think they were already good, but we're going to be good for sure now. But let's go back and take a look at what happened to the 59. And I'm going to assume this was just one of those issues of getting loose off of turn 4 like we've seen so many times tonight. Oh, almost had it saved. And, right into the concrete. No safer barrier there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have some handling problems with the 59. Sent the right front in there.
All right, so I expect to see everyone on pit lane here, Finian. It looks like we do. Do you try anything, strategy-wise?
I don't know. Honestly, I think the 4 tires, I think the best, especially considering we've got a decent amount of laps left, too. I think it'd be a little silly to try to do 2 tires considering the distance left. If we were with 20 laps to go, I would say absolutely try 2 tires.
Navarro overshot his box.
Oh, and Cohen.
And Cohen as well. Those little things are going to mean that, you're going to be further back of the pack and you're more at risk of getting yourself in an accident. So Might seem like a tiny little thing, but look at Bressie get a great run through pit road. He's going to come out in second off of the pit lane as the rest of the field.
Cohan is. Oh, did he get a penalty?
He must have. There's no way. So the 21, a long time on pit road, a 22nd, maybe not a penalty. He might have been fixing some damage or something, but
yes.
I don't know why you do that. But either way, Christopher Matthews stays out here, finishing maybe to lead a lap, but at this point, points don't really matter. I just go for the win.
I mean, you kind of.
Well, that's what it looked like he did.
I guess for the rest of the standings, wanted to just move himself up there, but yeah, he'll lead a lap and he'll come down get service.
Wilco coming back down as well. Okay, so that's going to leave Scott Eckridge back in the lead. We're going to have about 55 laps to go, somewhere in that range. So, who you got here, Finian? Pick one.
I mean, that really needs to hit.
I guess not. Scott Eckridge is your pick. Yeah, it's really hard to bet against the 70 car. And
I would say, honestly, looking at everyone, I'd say probably the best and at a shot. I think Ward. It's been the most consistent.
And he'll be restarting third right behind the 70 car. So
and we've seen that. We've seen that. I'm curious on how Bress is going to take this race because we've seen last 2 times that outside lane doesn't typically get a good run or a good start. Or even if they do get a good jump, it's just kind of hard to deal with the faster guys on the bottom. So I think he might get passed by Ward here, but we'll see on the restart.
One of my favorite things about iRacing is that even if these tracks are no longer on the schedule and no longer exist, now thankfully Rockingham does, and hopefully making a resurgence here in the coming years, it's preserved in a way digitally, and this is a beautiful job by iRacing to preserve this racetrack. And looking from high above, it's almost like it was in its heyday, Finian, and hopefully we can bring it back there in a couple of years. But with 1 to green, Thunder Rally is going to be filled with the sounds of roaring V8s for another 55 laps as they come back to the green.
And there you see also some wave runs going around the pace car, getting their laps back.
It was our Norm Pelletier and Don Runkle Jr. for making their way back around. I think we should come to the road course next time. And we'll race MX-5s because these cars wouldn't work very well.
I was for club. Yeah, the road course. Not a big fan of the road course, and anything really bigger than an MX-5.
The oval's good enough.
Yeah,
Rovals are for when your oval isn't a good enough racetrack. There's the quote of the day. Although the Charlotte Roval is really good, so I can't really. Speaking of the Charlotte Roval, that's coming up.
Yeah, we're going next week.
So that's a big question mark for a lot of people, Finian. And you know who's loving that?
Yeah,
Thomas Bressie.
Yeah, that can make or break people's playoffs. So, because especially the guys that are not the best of road courses, they could easily get kicked out there.
Yeah, the 24 has been waiting for that all time. I've raced against him at the Roval. I know how good he is. I did beat him though, but he's really good there. He'll be the one to watch next week. Green flag, 55 to go here at Rockingham.
Relatively poor start from guys in behind, some wheel spin happening, but get head off into one. Looks like Bress is going to get ahead of Jeff Ward to see Navarro and George fighting for the spot.
And that was a critical moment for Ward to have a run at this 70, because if the 70 gets a lead, it's going to be game over at this point. But Nick Cohan did not get a very good restart, back to 9th place. Again, he didn't really need to win this race, but it would have been nice to solidify his competitiveness in this field. And tonight has just consistently slipped backwards. It was much better at the beginning of the race.
See if he can recover back to around where he was. He should be able to. It'll take a few laps.
Look at Tim Silliman, a great performance in the latter half of this race. Slowly but methodically worked his way up, and that's what he's done all season, and that's why he was so high up in the point standings.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be contender for the win here tonight, but definitely going to be has the potential of getting a solid top 5 should the order get doubled up.
Such a cool racetrack to watch these. It's like they just come up out of a hole in the ground and they head down to turn 3. This is a neat racetrack. For the lead, though, Thomas Bressie is chasing down that 70 car here, Finney. Maybe he's got something for him.
Yeah, I guess maybe he's been hiding something, and he's got some good pace in that 24 car.
Oh, he's way down on the apron. Got to be careful not to clip that. That'll send you up the racetrack.
He did a pretty good job. I guess these guys haven't enough downforce to clip it.
Car popping out of line. That's Tyler Hensley in the 44 to the inside of Mahan. Could be tight here, but the 8 car moves up the racetrack just in time to avoid a collision.
I was going to say, very, very close. These guys fighting hard for a spot for 7th place.
Off into turn 1, side by side again. The 44 slips up the racetrack. The 8 moves up to compensate. Oh, 44 way down on the apron, and the 21 slips Cohen out of shape.
Oh, yeah.
And here comes Greg Evans, and he's got the nose stitched back on that car, and he's recovering from what could have been a disastrous moment in this race.
I was going to say, he looks like he might be able to funnel out for a top 10 here.
50 laps to go here at Thunder Alley. And down into turn number 1, Scott Eckridge has pulled out to a half-second lead, but the battle now is for second. Bressie, Ward, Silliman, And you can even count Navarro in this if these guys get together.
Yeah, I was going to say Bresci lost quite a bit of time the last few laps over Eckert. We just saw them really close, but he's drifted back into the clutches of Ward and Silman.
Working lap number 100 here at the Rock. Been a great race so far, but again, it's the number 70 who's just been putting on a stellar performance all year long. How about this fight here? This is Navarro, George, and Mahan all fighting for 5th on the racetrack.
And George again just trying to move up some spots here. He's got a potential of catching up to Navarro. Navarro looked like he was going to move up some spots. He's kind of drifted back away from the rest of the field.
Oh boy, this is getting close up here.
Yeah, these guys playing with inches here.
It's like the scene out of Cars at the beginning when they got all three of them together when they show the points. Oh, man. Points don't make any sense how they did that in the movie, but well, that's another issue for another time. The 24 Bresci under attack, and Jeff Ward's going to take this spot away if he lunges down on the inside of turn 1.
Yeah, I think that's going to be that's the hard thing to do. There,
nope.
You see Bresci pinch him down on the inside, and Bresci's going to get a nice run off the corner here. Actually, Ward slips off, so he's going to lose some momentum there.
Off into turn 3, he sends it in deep right against that yellow line. They're going to be door-to-door through 3 and 4, and Ward has to get this pass done if he's going to have time to get back to Scott Eckridge. We only have about 17 minutes left in this race, and it goes green from here.
Yeah, definitely seen that inside line better through 3 and 4, not so much through 1 and 2.
Yeah, 3 and 4, definitely it's better, but he's staying alongside him here, Finian. If he can just keep working over the 24, maybe push him up the racetrack a little bit, make him slide up the racetrack. But now look at the 24. He's moved up and he's found some speed there, but he bobbles on the exit of turn 4. The 89 is going to actually get into 2nd place. He's just got to clear him now.
Yeah, Bresci's still going to be there, though, and he'll get that nice run off of 2. Definitely think the outside lane's having trouble getting exiting turn 4.
Yeah.
You see him actually get enough of a run
Turn 2 is a really strong exit for the outside lane, but the turn 4 you definitely see a bobble. And the 24 is loose there a bit, and Ward working him over, but Eckridge is gone. 1.7 seconds up the road. There he is.
Yeah, there you see the guy visually there, and you see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th really close together, then 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Love that camera. This is a cool racetrack. This has been a fun race to watch.
Yeah, and we can go back to Evans and Cohen. I'm not surprised that Evans hasn't, that Cohen hasn't. Oh, he's now just getting around.
Yeah, I think this goes to show you, Finny, this 21, how bad this car is handling for the 21 right now. He's battling that 46, who spent. Oh, he's gonna crash! He saves it, and he does, but he's gonna lose another spot here. But I was just gonna say, if the 46 is passing him, he's really struggling.
Yeah, Evans was able to pass him when Cohen dropped back a few spots, and now he was struggling to get past 46. They see him get loose there, so that 21 really struggling with the handling.
Yeah, and it's just not going to be a good night for the 21. Thankfully, the way it's gone for some other drivers in the finals, he won't have to worry about it too much. But again, once we start getting later in the season and that chopping line moves up a little bit, and the nights like this are going to be the ones where you wish you had done, or you had had a better result, even if it was only 10th or 11th. So 10th or 11th is fine for tonight, but it's not going to get you a championship.
Yeah, even though the halfway points are very critical because you want to make sure, having a good run throughout the race.
Silliman has really been extremely fast these last couple laps, has been almost as quick as our leader, Scott Eckridge. I think the 6 cars. Oh, Bresci's out of control! Slipping, sliding, spinning on the front straightaway.
And he's going to spin it out in the grass. I don't think we're going to get a caution.
We probably won't here.
And tough break for the 24.
And he'll get back rolling again, but he's going to drop down to 12th, which is the last car on the lead lap. And what was going to be a fantastic result is now looking a lot less good for the 24.
He's going to need a caution to get himself back in this, but now that leaves Ward and Silman to fight for 2nd place.
Silliman has found another gear in that race car and has caught Jeff Ward, and he got a freebie there.
Yeah, I was going to say, since he's running some fast laps, I understood that if he had 2 cars ahead of him, he would kind of just wait for the opportunity to present itself, but he's only got 1 car ahead of him now to fight with at the moment.
Navarro Jr. in the fence in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's been riding, he's been hitting that wall consistently, I don't know.
Well, he's been trying to stand up everyone's way, but I don't think the Larson line is a place you want to be around here when the wall juts out 5 feet every couple meters. So
yeah, that right side of that car has also been very abused.
Yeah, well,
abused tonight for the Zelda Zero.
For that 2nd spot, Ward is beginning to step away from Tim Silliman. And actually, the last lap ran quicker than Scott Eckridge Finian, so it's not out of the question for Ward to reel in 70, but I just don't see how you're going to do it from 2.1 back.
It's gonna be tough for him. I mean, even if he was able to pick up a few tenths here, I don't think he'll be able to close in that big of a gap.
That's discounting if we have any yellows and somebody tries some strategy, but that's going to have to be pretty late in the race. It seems like we're only about 21 laps into this run, and they're already about a second off their best times, so the tires are definitely worth enough to be taking all four at every stop. Ward, again, this is a championship contender. Take the 70 out of the question, the 89 would be your champion, I think, at this point. But the problem is the 70 is in here. Now, I will say, Ward has actually taken another chunk out of that lead. It's now 1.9 seconds. It's been the lowest it's been in about 10 laps.
Yeah, what concerns me, though, is will he be able to consistently do it? I have my doubts, and nothing against the driver, but it's a tough feat to do, especially considering how good Eckert's been performing this season.
I will say lap traffic could throw a ring into their hand in this
Speaking of
mix
which, if we go off the nose of Eckert, he's got 2 cars ahead, Johnny Martin and I believe Tom Pelletier.
Yeah, looks like it is. Off into turn number 1, the lead that time. Again, Ward taking another couple hundredths out. It's now 1.86 seconds. He's got a lot of work to do, but it's possible for him to do it. He's just got to really be on his game. And is Eckert saving anything? I mean, he's got a huge lead. I mean, a 1.8 second lead is astronomically large around here. I mean, he's got room to play with.
I mean, yeah, he probably might be saving something, not really for anything in particular, but I think just making sure he doesn't get loose off the corners. Very easily, I think it's very easy to find the limit, as you saw Bresci cross over that limit coming out of fourth. I think he might just be making sure he's hitting his marks and not overdriving the car.
Last time through, they were essentially dead even, a 23.628 to a 23.631 advantage to the 70. 0.03 of a second. This time a 23.684 to a 23.604. And the advantage that time was for the 89. So they're just trading blows back and forth, but that gap is still slowly working its way down. I just don't know if... Johnny Martin slipping in and out of the way here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be out of the way. No harm, no foul. He's going to be bit in the line.
Out of the way just yet, and the 89 gets on through. How about the 70? Just dealt with Norm Pelletier, put him 2 laps down. But Ward got crossed up there and lost another 10th. When in a time when he needs to be really getting into this. So 30 to go when we get to the line, the 12 car in the fence, and this could be the caution that the 89 needed, and it will be caution out for the 4th time tonight. And everyone just breathed a sigh of relief except for the 70.
I was going to say, the guy I think needed that a little bit more is Thomas Bresci. After his spin, he was on the lead lap still. He'll get a chance to get some tires potentially and also just get back with the leaders.
Yeah, Johnny Martin just ran out of the safer barrier, ended about 10 feet further, and he just made it a little bit longer. He would have not hit that wall, but into the fence, pretty heavy damage there. Caution out 4th time tonight. Strategy, man, what do you do? 4 tires and fuel, I would say.
Yeah, I would think, I don't know. If I'm one of the guys back toward the back half of the top 10, I would consider doing 2.
Well, there's only 12 cars on the lead lap, so you might as well come, I would think. But
yeah,
you're not going to lose a whole lot.
But yeah, definitely. If anything, if I were to come, you're not coming down. Nope, he is okay. I would be surprised if if a lot of the guys stayed out.
I'm going to assume everyone's going to pit here and try to take advantage of a quick stop.
Yeah. Well, watch for guys in the back potentially throwing wrench in things, taking 2 tires just to get some track position.
We saw Bresci putting pressure on the back of Gale Brooks to make up some more ground before they entered pit road. He was really needed to get in here in time. Also, Greg Evans has dropped to the back of this group, and I'm not sure if something else happened to that car, but he seems like he's farther back than he was before.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him either, but here you see the guys getting into their stall, and you see Navarro getting there a lot calmer.
Oh, Cohen's going to overshoot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right.
One way
NASCAR's Hawkeye system should...
I was going to say, visually looks in the box, although it's not entirely a clear indicator. Sometimes you have to back up a little bit, but race off pit road's going to be Ward.
Ward wins the race off pit road, and that could be it, Finney. And now he's got to hold off Eckrich, but no other huge changes there on pit lane. And someone asks, why not just 4 tires? They got enough fuel. Well, that's a good point, but the time it takes to put 4 tires in, you might as well put fuel. And honestly, I think it's a risk to not put fuel because it changes the balance of the race car. The fuel cell is in the rear of the machine, and if you don't put fuel in it, you might have an understeering race car, or I don't know how physically it would affect you. You think towards the rear, more weight would cause you to understeer?
Well,
yes, because more weight in the front would cause you to oversteer. So I would think. So it kind of depends on how you want your car, and maybe that's a decision that
I was going to say, well, technically, it wouldn't really matter with these cars considering how freaking heavy they are. But if you did take less fuel, it'd be slightly faster.
Yeah, I think the point is that most people, in all fairness, don't really worry about the fuel. They just fill it whenever they can. You're not waiting on fuel ever here. It's just always a tire.
Yeah. But actually, if you could just pull that out, I'm pretty sure everyone took forward just to double check. And yeah, wow, Eckridge showed a very slow stop. He should fire his pit crew.
15.2. And he was slow on pit lane, too. He was 7/10 slower than Jeff Ward, just working his way down pit road. So Ward got the job done and didn't get a penalty. That's the most important part of this whole thing.
It really is. I'm amazed at how slow that pit though. 1.1 seconds slower.
Yeah, well, again, and Ward also got the job done on pit road, which helped. But either way, the 70 is going to be restarting on the outside lane. And look who's in third, the 27 car, Navarro. Remember, he needed a good night to dig himself out of the hole, and he might be able to do that with the way things have gone for other drivers.
So I'm curious on how good of a restart Eckridge is going to get. We've seen last night Brussi got a pretty decent start, was able to file in. I'm curious on if Navarro is going to even let the 70 get a chance to blend in. I'm sure he's going to be all over the back bumper.
At this point, I don't think you're taking any prisoners. You're just going to go for it. You're going to take everything you can get. We saw that at lap like 30 with Nick Cohan and Scott Eckridge, but those two have... Okay, what's going on, Windows? There we go. It's done that twice.
Yeah, it's like consistently done that too.
Well, it's... Okay, well, we're good. It scared the hell out of me for a second.
Yeah, I did too. I was going to say...
We've had that... Fuel has had too many things go wrong on our end the last couple months, and I don't know why, but it always seems like Tuesdays are the cursed days for SimTV. But we're all good. We're going to have about 25 to go, roughly. Yeah, exactly 25 to go when we get the restart.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race to the finish. These guys got 4 fresh tires. They're going to be going completely out of here.
I don't think we've seen our last yellow flag of the night.
Oh, I don't think so either. I mean, some of the guys up there, they're going to be racing hard and racing fast, but Faith Car is going to be in. We're going to get ready to go.
All right, 25 to go at Thunder Rally here in Rockingham. We're going to eliminate one driver at the end of it. Green flag flies, and the 70 got a phenomenal restart on the outside lane. Can he hold off the 89 after a slow pit stop?
Well, 89's definitely going to take the lead. Navarro wasn't able to capitalize. He's going to fall in behind in third. Everyone single file out as they come out of turn 2.
This is so important for the 70 to get back to that lead because the 89 has been quick all night. Here's a big battle back here. Silliman had a slow stop, or either that or a penalty, and is back here after running really well earlier. So a gaggle around here, but the 46 is still running 8th, and props to him for staying in this fight even with the damaged race car.
I think might get passed by a few drivers here, but is still trying to just hang in for anything, any points that he can get at this point in time in the race. But Jeff Ward's still leading over the 70. I'm sure he's going to be checking his mirror a lot in the next 25
I almost
laps.
don't think you can mirror drive, and you got to focus forward. You got a job to do, and it's going to be to hold off the guy with the most wins this season. It's not going to be an easy task. He was reeling him in before, but now the roles have reversed, and now the 89 is going to be the one on the chopping block here for the 70 car. So the gap is 0.2 of a second. We have just about 23 laps to go when we get to the line, and Eckridge has enough time to get there, so this is going to be a good fight.
Well, what I'm curious is if Eckridge is going to get to him, if he's going to be physical or not.
Well, earlier he seemed like he was fine moving down on the 21, different scenario, but I don't think the 70 is afraid of using the bumper, but I believe he still is on probation after an incident at Chicagoland a few weeks ago.
And also you consider his points lead. I mean, again, you don't want to entirely rest on your laurels, but I mean, the man has, you also led a halfway, so he's going to get even more points over the rest of these guys too. He has a 25-point lead over second place in the points.
So you don't need to force the issue.
Yeah.
So no need there, but I don't really think you can tell a driver to calm down. I think they're going to go for it. I mean, if he's got a chance to win, he's going to take it. I don't think it matters how he's going to get it.
And actually, at some point in time, the 21 and Nick Cohen, he called it a day.
Oh, what happened to the 21?
I think he called it a quits under that caution.
I think he did too. We completely missed that. But...
Yeah, because we did see him make a pit stop, so yeah, I guess he decided he didn't want to continue.
Well, it's not going to hurt him, I don't think, that badly, because he wasn't really running that great before, but either way, not a great night for the 21. Look at the 70. He's really wound up on corner exit. He's trying hard, Finian. He's not backing down. He's not taking it easy. He's been wheeling this car. He's close, but he's not quicker than the 89.
I think definitely he's going to try to do as much as he can get to at least have an attempt at the 89, because at least then he can say he didn't try. But he's doing his best. You see him rim riding just around that yellow line.
The 89 is better in turns 3 and 4 than anybody I've seen here all night. Now the question is, down in 1 and 2, I think the 70 is quicker.
Well, look at how much position he gains in just entering. Loses a bit on exit, but overall gains. But then you're saying in 3 and 4, 89 is going to Expand?
Well, it's on corner exit here. Watch the 89 get this run. That time the 70 actually got a pretty decent run there along right behind him. So Eckrich is closed in, but now you're stuck in the arrow wash here a bit. And the 89 slipped mid-corner here, Finian, in the 70s. All over the rear bumper of the lead. 18 laps to go.
Yeah, this is going to be tight here, and if anything happens, we'll get the 27 to Navarro. He's going to be right there to pick up the pieces.
89 slipped on the back straightaway, entering turn number 3. So now he's mirror driving. Before he could afford to focus just out the windshield, but now he cannot leave a lane open. That 70 is going to take it. 17 laps to go here at the Rock. And this is an intimidating sight here, Finian. He's off the bottom. The 89's got to stay right against that yellow line. But if you give the 70 the outside lane, he'll just drive around you there, too.
Yeah, the 89's got to play this very carefully. Oh, he's going to
give him a lane.
Yeah, he's giving the lane. Here comes Eckrich with the run off the corner. Ward's going to try to get the better exit.
16 to go, side by side.
Not going to be clear entirely. Here comes Eckrich with a dive.
He's going to dive in, and he's going to take that lead away. Jeff Ward did not get a great run through 1 and 2, and he's now on the offense again.
I think he kind of let him on by there. I think didn't want to. I think he figured it was fighting a losing battle. He's going to fall into second place. I think he's going to be more focused on trying to defend off 27.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, if that was intentional, I don't quite get it. But maybe you're worried about the bumper being used and maybe just taking a second rather than a crash. But either way, now he's got the 27 all over him, and Eckrich is beginning to check out. We'll check in Thomas Bresci up to 6th place in that 24. Yeah, he's recovered after what could have been a disaster.
And so Hassan Spassi, kind of like behind, too, in the 8 car. Throwing a wrench into things, is in the middle of all the playoff drivers in 4th, having a good run.
For the lead. 15 laps to go. Scott Eckrich leads by 4/10 of a second.
And Ward is really struggling with tires. I think this is probably
too much.
Yeah, I think this is probably why he let Eckrich on by. I think he figured he used up too much of his tires. And I was just trying to hang on in front of the 27.
Now it's a battle for second, but Navarro, he's got to be careful here, Finian. As long as he finishes where he is, he's good to go, I would say, for the next round. We're not going to say that officially because it's still going to be close.
But I would, if I were to put a bet on it, I would think it's a pretty safe bet to put money on that because he, again, with a finish 4th at halfway, got 7 points there. He's going to get 3rd, and Johnson's all the way back in 19th.
The big picture for both these cars, Eckrich getting around Norm Pelletier to put him 2 laps down, and see Ward getting on by here.
Yeah, we'll give you guys official confirmation of who actually gets kicked out here as soon as you can. Will Roberts very on top of his stuff.
Yep.
He updates the points as soon as he can.
All right.
We'll get in contact with
Tim Silliman, what happened to the 6 car you're Finian? He just lost all that track position on the last stop and hasn't been able to claw his way back through it.
I don't know what it is with the 6. It doesn't look like he has any damage.
No, I think it was just something on pit road. He got slowed up or something.
He got put back in traffic here. He's struggling to get around Tyler Hensley.
Hensley's had a decent night, but really is not. He's just been the definition of top 10 driver this season. And now someone's going to work around the outside lane. 11 laps to go, coming to 10 to go. Battle here is for 7th.
Oh, no, really here.
Norm Pelletier and Thomas Bresci making it close here. This is going to be a tight fit. We're going to try to go 3 wide. Contact, the 48 slipping, sliding on the apron, and he's going to save it, but that could have been a bad moment for the 44.
Oh, as soon as he started going 3 wide, I thought that was going to end up badly because there's that little kink in the front straightaway.
All right, for the lead, Eckrich, Ward. Now, here's the interesting thing. Finian Ward is right back on pace with the 70. Last couple laps has matched him, and that time was quicker. I mean, again, this is just so frustrating to watch because Jeff Ward, I think, has the quicker car, but just the couple laps before he got past just was way off the pace. He's rediscovered something, but it might be too late now.
I'm guessing probably kind of fell under pressure from the 70. I think that might have been why he was going a little bit slower, and now that he's the guy chasing. And that's definitely a thing for me in CCO. I think I'm much better behind someone than in front of someone. I think we're seeing the case there here with 89.
Well, when you're behind someone, you have the opportunity to analyze them and make advance on their mistakes. But when you're leading, you have to be perfect and not give that driver any way to plan or formulate a plan to get around you. So as we come to 7 laps to go, the gap extends just a bit to 0.4 of a second. Scott Eckrich has led the vast majority of this race by a pretty large margin, and that margin is a lot smaller now. But I just don't know if Ford's got the pace to get back to his bumper and do anything about it.
Well, keep an eye on it. He's definitely going to be close, if anything, but if it's close enough for Ward to try to make a move on Eckrich, it's kind of left to be seen.
There's Greg Evans still fighting inside 10th place.
I was going to say, he's going to get a top 10 if he can hold off Wilco.
And with how that condition that car was in, that is a victory for the 46.
I mean, look at the state
I'm just
of
amazed
that
it's
nose.
still running at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's looking at the engine to give up because he hit that inside wall pretty damn hard. And he hit the concrete too.
Yeah, he did not hit the safer barrier. There's not a safer barrier around the whole racetrack here. So,
Ooh,
whoa, Eckridge
Eckridge,
tight out of turn
yeah.
4. And that's a mistake that Ward just
Big
got to
wiggle.
take advantage of because we only have 5 laps to go and the gap closed by 1/10 of a second. So the opportunity is still there, but Ward's got to be perfect and Eckridge's going to have to make another mistake.
Yeah, Ward got a good exit off of 2-2. Yeah, big wiggle out of Eckridge sent him up the track. We'll see here if Ward is going to be able to capitalize because he's
Look
running
at him
out of
gain
laps.
through 3 and 4. This is what I was talking about earlier. He just gained a bunch there, and now he's just got to continue to reel him in. 2.5 tenths of a second, 4 laps to go. A good run through 1 and 2 as well. He's closing, Finian. Does he have enough time? Will he use the bumper?
I don't think so. He's going to have to really make some good improvements here, and Eckridge has got to make a few mistakes.
Oh, a good run there, but he had to back out the throttle. He's closing just
that
ever
back
so
end-
slightly.
I can see the car, the back end's coming out. He is really pushing the issue here.
2.5 tenths of a second. It's been the smallest it's been in the last 15 to 20 laps. 3 laps to go. We're coming to 2. The 89 slips. He hits the wall out of turn 2. He's trying, Finian. He's trying.
Yeah, he was sideways off of 2. He's going to be sideways off of 4 here.
2 laps to go. Scott Eckridge leads, but he slips out of turn 4.
This is 2 drivers going at it right now.
8 more corners left. Make it 7 as the 70 works his way through turn number 1. Ward is so close. He's got a great run out of turn 2. He's going to have one more shot at it, Finian.
Yeah, if he can get another 10th through here, if he's within range, you can try to give the bumper.
He's going to have a fantastic run out of turn 4.
can
White
he hold
flag
it?
in the air. 1 more to go with Rockingham.
Oh man, we've seen him. He's dominant in 3 and 4 here. He just needs to make sure that he's close in 1 and 2.
A bit of a slip there, I think, for the 89, and that might be it. But out of turn 2,
he's-
look at that run he's got.
And we see him again be faster here. Is he going to give him the lunge?
Through 3 and 4, Scott Eckridge has dominated this race. The 89 of Jeff Ward put on a fight, but it's not going to be enough. He slips,
boy.
he slides, checkered flag out of turn 4. Scott Eckridge wins round number 1 in the Fuel Finals at Rockingham.
Oh, and I saw Bresci there in smoke as well as Silman, and they both actually finished a lap down. What on earth happened to them?
These guys had a dramatic moment, I think. As checkered flag flies, and I think the tempers will be hot. And these two are definitely not thrilled with each other, I imagine. Don't think we're done here yet.
No, I don't think so either. Oh, definitely not.
boy.
And there it is.
So Bresci and Silliman involved in a last lap collision. And smoke and fire from those cars as Scott Eckridge does his burnouts. We'll take you back and we'll watch that incident here in a moment. But Scott Eckridge, your winner. He had to work for it hard this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've seen him drive off into the sunset in a lot of scenarios, but he had Ward all over his bumper until the end there. And that was a great battle between both those guys.
He's gotten real good at those burnouts.
Yeah.
All right.
He's had a lot of time this season to practice those.
All right, let's take you back. I want to know what happened between the 6 and the 24, because I guarantee you it was dramatic. I'll tell you that. Oh boy. Oh boy.
yeah.
Here we go. Here's
Yeah.
a look at it.
This is with 2 laps to go here.
This is the crash is down in turn number 3. So the 24 slips here. Then the 6 and the 24 are racing each other side by side into turn 3. And then the 6, does he slip up the racetrack? Yes, he does. He slips up into the 24.
Oh.
A huge impact for the 6. Sends him flying across the racetrack. And no caution had flown for that because I think the leader had taken the
Took
white.
flag, yeah.
So the 24 kind of got used up there. I could see why he would be upset. And those two got together and finished 11th and 12th. Well, here's another look at it. And this is onboard Bresci's here. I think he holds his line, Finian. He gives the 6 plenty of room down here, especially coming to the white. There's lots of room, and the 6 car just uses up too much, and they get together out of turn 4. You can't fault the 6 for trying to bully him around, but I think you can see why the 24 is upset.
Yeah.
Oh, what a vicious impact for the 6. But Bresci had such a good run tonight and just had a pair of incidents really dampen this evening, but man, what a hit. Maybe we'll ride on board with the 6 and see his perspective of it before we call this official here, but it's down to turn 3, and how far off the yellow line is he here?
I mean, he was pretty close on it. He came off a little bit towards the exit here.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it from that angle, it doesn't look quite as bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider mostly a racing incident. I mean, Silman slipped a little bit, but Brescia, I mean, wasn't giving room. And I mean, not that he had to at all.
Well, yeah. See, again, from the upward angle here, I'd say that the 6 guard definitely came up the racetrack.
But at that point, they're kind of they're exiting.
That's
the
a
corner.
tough one. That's a tough one.
Because this is kind of exiting there, and you come up towards the wall. So yeah.
Yeah. So I guess jury's out on that. We'll let the court of public opinion decide. But let's head back live here. Take a look at your race results. Scott Eckridge, Jeff Ward, 0.3 of a second. Ward almost had him, maybe another lap or two, but just didn't quite have the run when he needed it the most out of turn 2.
I was going to say what really killed him was the fact that he wasn't able to hold off the 70. And I think clearly showed that he was probably the faster of the 2 cars there.
Yeah, I think Jeff Ward, this is probably the one that got away, but a great result for him. Anthony Navarro, he performed what he needed to the most after those penalty points got applied. We're going to check and see who's in the Fuel Finals for the next couple rounds and who got eliminated, but we'll be back with you in just a couple minutes with interviews. Stay with us to find out who was eliminated from round 1 of the Fuel Finals. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV, here now with 12th place finisher Thomas Bressi after a dramatic night. Up and down the order, had a great run rolling there before a self-spin, and then later in the night on coming to the white flag, he got into it with Tim Silliman there. All in all, a good night, but didn't get the result you needed. You're 5th in the standings, so you made it to the next round, but just walk us through your night.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story of the last couple of weeks, I guess. Ran decent, finished like crap, but I guess we got through this week, so that's good. We have the Roval next week, so I got something to look forward to at least. But yeah, I don't even know what happened when I spun out a second. I don't know if I got the apron or if the back end just bottomed out really hard. It's just I couldn't catch it. It's just at least I didn't hit anything, and I got really lucky with that caution. Well, I guess it really didn't matter at the end of it, but and then we all saw what kind of happened on the last lap there. So it kind of sums up the last several weeks, I guess.
Well, we head to the Roval next week, and that's a really good track for you. I've raced you there, and beat you, by the way, but I've raced you there, and you're really good.
Me.
And we go there next week. Is that a race? Is that a must-win for you? I mean, it's obviously a racetrack that I think you're the favorite to win at. So what's the plan for next week? Is it go out there and be conservative with the points, or are you going for the win?
Win. There's nothing else I need to do at this point. I mean, I'm tired of running like, well, if I could finish there, that'd be cool. But I'm tired of running like consistently top 10 or edge of the top 5 or whatever, or something like that, or playing second fiddle to somebody wherever we are. But I got to get a win at some point. So, I mean, any of these races are as good as time as any. I'm fortunate I got through tonight though, because I like the rest of the fuel finals, the races we got coming up. I'm looking forward to them. So hopefully things kind of get turned around, but I don't know. We'll I guess we'll see. But the goal is definitely to go win next week, but the competition's pretty tight here, so we'll get what we can and make the most of it.
All right, Thomas. Well, we'll see you next week. Good luck out there, and thanks for talking to us.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, next let's talk to 3rd place Anthony Navarro in the number 27 car. Anthony, a good race tonight, and you did everything you needed to do to move on to the next round of the fuel finals, and you did that. It was close, but those halfway points made the difference. Walk us through your night.
Yes, sir. We just try to have a solid night. You know, I'm still on probation here, so I can't have any incidents. I'd like to get up there. I know I had a fast enough car to get up there and battle for that win, but just kind of got in position where I could ride, and stay out of trouble, and had to get halfway there to finish 4th, I believe, and ended up 3rd. I think the 6th got a penalty there on the last pit stop. So overall, solid night, and we'll take it going to Charlotte and hopefully do the same thing and top 5 our way to the Final 4 and then race them then.
All right, and I want to ask you one more thing before we let you go. Do you think this was the hardest week of the fuel finals, coming and making up that deficit, or do you think the future and working your way up through that order is going to be harder?
I don't even think about that. I just think about race to race and maximizing the points I can score as a driver and not worry about what everyone else is doing, and that's really all I can control. So see what happens where we end up at the end of these races, and hopefully it's good enough to get to the Final 4. All
right, Anthony Navarro, 3rd place tonight. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you at Charlotte.
Thank you. See you next week.
Next, we're going to talk to the 2nd place driver, Jeff Ford. Jeff, you did everything you could. You got right to his bumper on the last lap. You made it dramatic. It was fun to watch, but I think it would be a bit more fun for you if you were doing burnouts and in victory lane. 0.3 of a second behind Scott Eckrich. Walk us through your race, and I mean, you got to be happy with that, but does it sting to miss it by that little?
Yeah, we come out of that last pit stop with the lead there, and I would have liked to held on to it. We just didn't have a very good short run car. It took us a good 15, 20 laps to get the car under us, and we're actually really good in turn 3 and 4 there after about 20 laps. So need a little more time to get back to his bumper there, but he was fast all night. He definitely deserved that, and drove a good race. So we'll take 2nd place. We got some good stage points, and I'm a little under the weather. I barely made it into practice, and so I'm tickled to death to be on the podium, and this is a good point tonight going into the Roval.
All right, well, we'll let you get well, Jeff. We'll see you next week at the Roval. It's going to be a fun one to watch next week. Congrats on a good finish tonight, and get well soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
And the man of the hour, Scott Eckrich. You had to work for that one a ton. You had the 89 all over your rear bumper, but another dominant performance. Almost lost it there at the end to the 89, but held on again for yet another victory. A very strong start to the fuel finals. Do you think you can keep doing races like this over the whole course of the finals?
I mean, boy, I hope so. How about that damn Jeff Ward, though? He just wouldn't go away tonight. Yeah, I knew he'd have some serious speed here, and I knew the normal hard hitters would be right there too. So, um, luckily for me, I guess, is me and Jeff didn't have the same speed at the same part of the run, so it allowed me to kind of get around him there.
When we look towards the race next week, like the Roval, that's kind of a big question mark for a lot of people. I thought this race was a question mark, but it looks like we have our typical front runners up here. Next week, do you think that's going to shake up the order, and how do you feel like you're going to do at the road course?
Yeah, road courses are always, you kind of see a different set of people kind of rise to the front there. And Rockingham, I would say, was kind of like that, but you had a few guys that did really good too. Big shout out to the LPM guys for 3 of the top 4 spots there. As far as the Roval goes, I think that's just going to be a question mark. I know I'm pretty good at the road courses, so I'd hope that I'm going to do really good here. But I don't think I've ever raced there, so that'll definitely be a factor. And I'm sure, as most of everybody else out there doesn't have very much experience, so I think it'll be kind of just a crapshoot to see what happens.
And extending for the points lead this week with another victory, do you think you can afford to kind of play some more strategy and just try to pick up more race victories now that you have a bit of a cushion?
Yeah and no. I think with the halfway bonus being 10 points, I think if you strategize yourself out of that halfway bonus, you can shorten that gap up very, very, very fast. So I think you kind of have to be conservative to halfway, and from that point on, yeah, I could see maybe taking a gamble for it or something.
All right, Scott. Well, another race victory for you. Good luck next week at Charlotte, and good job holding off that 89. He was definitely charging for it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Fanila, we're going to go back and try to find this incident that happened between the 21 and the 6. And honestly, I didn't see this happen. We did see that the 46 had received more damage from something, but...
Yeah, we noticed that he was notably behind people coming into the pits, and we weren't sure why. And I think we figured out what we were able to figure out what caused it after.
Yeah, so we're going to go and take a look at the 21 here. We're doing this the old-fashioned manual way to find out exactly what happened, but let's see. So source the collision here. So there was some drama coming to the yellow flag. I think
it'll be here.
Oh, okay. So this was a whole lap worth of an incident here, Finn. I know exactly what happened here. Let's take a look. So let's see. The 46. I don't think he did this for no reason. Here is a look at the replay. So watch what happens when they get. So the caution comes out. Watch the 21 and the 46 here, Finian. We're gonna get down to turn number 3. The 46 is slowing for the yellow. The 21 gets right on the bumper of the 46. There's contact here. And now when we're going to get around the whole lap and we're going to come back to the pits, then we're going to see the incident here. So I think this is where it stemmed from, is the 46 and the 21 getting together.
Yeah.
And then that must have aggravated the 46. And when they come back around to pit, I think you're going to see him pull in front of the 21. And this is where this whole incident stems from.
Well, I also believe that the 46 is supposed to be in front of...
He might have been. So he gets in front here and yeah, see, now this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah,
so this is the incident that ended up getting the 21 parked.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you be the judge.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll put you on the spot.
I think that was a little unnecessary, that contact there.
Yeah, so again, the 46, I don't think he did anything wrong here.
No, yeah, he was supposed to be in front of Cohen. He was in front of him when the caution came out.
I mean, it was such light contact, but either way,
I mean,
it spun the 46 out.
If you wanted to show your displeasure with some contact, he probably should have done on the back straightaway, just give him a little bit of a nudge in the back. But like,
either way,
you shouldn't really pit maneuver someone.
Well, that's what happened. So we'll fill you in, and however your opinion is on that, we'll let you guys decide. But let your results scroll through one more time. So dramatic moment there, but Cohan's good and through to the next round. We don't have our point settings that we can pull up and show you, but we can tell you it's Eckrich, Ward, George, Cohan, and Bressie are top 5. Then it's Silliman, Navarro, Evans, and Don Runkle, and Timothy Johnston. We haven't even talked about this yet. Timothy Johnson was the one that was eliminated, and that's such an awful end to the season for him in terms of the championship picture. Nothing that he did wrong, just wrong place, wrong time, after having a super consistent season.
Yeah, it was just crappy luck for the 28 car is going to take him out. Yeah, I would say after having a stupidly consistent
regular season was up there. I believe finished second, either second or
Second,
first.
yeah, he was really good this season, but it's not going to be good enough. Next week we go to the Charlotte Roval. Hopping curbs, missing walls, that could be one to take out even the best of them. So even Scott Eckridge could make a mistake next week and end his fuel finals. So actually, I don't even know if he could mathematically.
I was gonna say actually before we go. So I think so. Eckridge currently also he has a 30-point lead over.
Okay, so
place.
he can't get.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
scratch
So
that.
I would say. I would put a whole lot of money. I would put all of my life savings on, which is not much, on Scott Eckridge making it through to the finals. With that big of a points lead and just his consistently, I doubt he's gonna
making it through the last round.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make it to the last round, even if he has a few blunders. And I think also Ward showing. I think he's gonna probably be the second car. So who do you think is gonna be the other two? I know it's kind of early to tell, but if you were
just say you said the 70 and 89. Well, the 24 could launch himself back into championship contention with a win next week. The 21 is going to be strong, but I don't know if I think the 27 is a good. If he could just keep clawing his way up, I think the 27 is going to be in good shape. Yeah, I'd say the 24 and 27. I think Bretsy's going to turn this thing around. All right, let's see. And I don't know if there was any more developments in terms of the 21 deal, but we're gonna just wait and tell you about those next week when we get there and we know them for sure. So that's gonna be it. That's gonna do it for us tonight. We're off tomorrow and Thursday, but we are gonna be back on Friday night for VRL action from Richmond, and then Outsider Racing League action from the Indy Road Course on Saturday night. That's what's coming up. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast of the Fuel Finals round number 1 from Rockingham. We'll see you next week at the Charlotte Roval. Road course racing, right-hand turns and lefts next week.